KMBC 9 News starts with breaking news.
I'm absolutely terrified right now.
It's just a nightmare to be able to have to come into a situation like that of celebrating, and then out of nowhere, people are getting killed.
No, we tackled him. We tackled him.
Parades, rallies, schools, movies. It seems like almost nothing is safe.
We didn't know what was happening, but this day and age when people run, you run. Honestly, I don't think I can handle going back to another parade for this. It's not worth my daughter's life.
It is said that this is how this has to end.
This is just not Kansas City as a rule.
This is not Kansas City. There's a shooting right now. There's a shooting right in front of me.
From triumph to tragedy, videos continue pouring into our newsroom hours after a mass shooting at today's rally following the Chiefs' Super Bowl victory parade. Good evening, everybody. I'm Chris Dent.
Tonight in Blueberry, those shots were fired just as the rally was ending. The gunfire sent hundreds of people running for safety. And here's what we know so far about this investigation. One woman is dead, 22 people are hurt, and several of them are children.
The victims are being treated at 3 area hospitals tonight. We know that police have 3 people in custody. Our team coverage continues right now. Our reporters have been on this story for hours. We begin with Len Jennings and Laura Moritz, who were steps away from where the shots rang out first. Len, Laura?
Yes, Chris and Bria, we're just outside. You can see they're still taped off of this area. They have a perimeter, law enforcement does, all around Union Station, as the investigation is still very active, and it continues tonight into what happened earlier today with the tragedy of the shooting just moments after the victory parade and rally just wrapped up. As you mentioned before, we were just about to put a bow on it, and then everything just turned to chaos.
Everything turned to chaos. We had headsets on. We had security detail that was hired for crowd control. And our security and the photographer that we've been working with all day long both heard the first round of gunfire, and they alerted us to it. And then about 3 minutes later, there was more gunfire that both Len and I heard. And before we knew it, we saw one of the victims on the ground. And there were a lot of people that were trying to tend to that victim. Law enforcement was running as fast as they could toward that person. But there was law enforcement that was running in a number of different locations with weapons drawn. There was SWAT that was running into Union Station. There was another situation at the parking garage in the west end of Union Station. There were shots fired that was to the east of the fountain. The first initial situation was to the west of the fountain in front of Union Station. All the while, there were still hundreds of thousands of people that had no idea anything was happening. So they're still kind of basking in the joy of our world champion Chiefs.
Right.
So law enforcement calmly were trying to get people out and vacating them from the situation so they could try and get control of these various situations that were going on. So it was terrifying for the people that did know what was going on, and for these multiple victims that were all throughout the area.
Absolutely. Thoughts and prayers go to the victims tonight. Of course, those families are with them this evening, and so we'll have more information on their conditions in this broadcast, and also this investigation is still ongoing.
It is, and Brian Johnson is at police headquarters downtown, and there have been briefings throughout the day. The latest one came this evening, and Brian, tell us where the investigation stands right now.
Yeah, Laura, Len, well, right now what we know is that Kansas City Police Chief Stacey Graves says the entirety of the shooting happened outside of Union Station, mostly on the west side of that building. We have not heard yet on how many rounds were fired by how many weapons, but we do know for sure those bullets hit 22 different people. No officers were shot, but some officers were injured while responding during the